Hey everybody, this is Perch. Let's talk about an inconsistency. Well, at least this viewer seems like they've got one, or at least a an unpopular and sexist opinion. Okay, all right, let's see where this goes. It says, "Hey Perch, hope all is well in the world of Perch. Thanks for all you do." By which I mean warning people away from Arby's for the sake of their intestines. You're a true hero. Yes, yes, I am. The stories keep coming of Arby's food where somebody peed in the milkshakes, or like bodily fluids going into the Arby's food. You search, there's a remarkable amount of these, more than other chains. I think any kind of chain has shenanigans going on with the food at various times, but it there's a lot with Arby's. I don't know. It's the hiring practices, I guess. Anyway, hopefully, YouTube tried to do a good match and put Arby's in here as an advertiser. So that would fit. Anyway, to the video, it says, or to the letter, I say, it says, there seems to be a real hesitancy to make for boys stuff. You can make stuff clearly meant for girls, like Miss Marvel, and nobody cares except clickbaity YouTubers. But every other franchise has to be either for girls or for everyone. And while it's nice to say Star Wars was for everyone, if you look at the merch, the marketing, the characters, and the plots, it's fair to say that the original trilogy was thought of as for boys. In fact, I think Lucas called it boyhood adventurism. By no means that means it's somehow wrong for girls to like it, just so I don't judge bronies, you should. But the core of the thing should remain. Nobody wants to make some satanic My Little Pony clad in armor and outfitted for medieval battle. Except I'll bet if you went on Google, you'd find people doing fan fiction of exactly that, and probably sodomizing each other. Anyway, from even looking at Lord of the Rings, I think that any honest person can see that there was a conscious casting choice to make sure that every race in Middle Earth has a prominent woman, except the orcs, if not led by a woman. By the way, I think that of Lord of the Rings, I mean they're doing their thing. I will say, what, the fifth episode, sixth episode, they finally had an episode that kicked it into gear. The mountain exploding and kind of like finally there was an episode where some shit happened, and it was some good visual shit. Like it was pretty damn good. But it's still you sit back, and I'm watching it with the wife, and Miss Perch is like, that was pretty good. I'm like, yeah, that was actually pretty good action there. She's like, yeah, it took 6 hours to get to there. I'm like, oh, wah, 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 wah. That's just it was I'm sorry. I mean, it was cool, but 6 hours to get there is absurd. All right. Anyway, I like that argument. So I haven't seen that in a lot of places. I'm sure other people have said it. But when they're doing kind of diverse, gender casting and everything else, and bringing other characters in, it is true that they kind of just say like, not the orcs though. The orcs will just keep as kind of rotten men. I mean, but it goes back to a lot of casting for diversity. And for the record, I think having different races, different things represented on the screen, nothing wrong with that. I think it's great. Hire a good actor, actress. Yeah, no issues. But I think you should have that same stance for all characters, heroes and villains. But a lot of movies and TV shows, when they have a true villain, they seem frightened to do anything but a white character, and usually a white male character. There is a hard lack of diversity for the villains. And I get why. The second you have if you have a gay villain, forget about it. They just, you're immediately gonna, you could have multiple heroes in that thing who are gay, but if you have one gay villain, you are an absolute bigot homophobe for playing into gay stereotypes. I like it anyway. I'm just saying, diversity should mean everywhere. If you're in, go all in. Got to be everywhere. And plus, I mean, I don't know. It just feels like a different form of racism. No, not reverse racism or anything else, just racism. I mean, like, look, if you're trying to give opportunities to everyone, give those opportunities for the villains too. But anyway, back to the mail. It says, when people raise this issue elsewhere, they sugarcoat it with everything should be for everyone. I disagree. I'm going to say some things should be for everyone, some things should be for girls, and some things should be for boys. I think that makes more sense. And I think part of the reason some recent movies flop is that the movie or comic is marketed toward women or marketed gender blind, but on a basis that doesn't really appeal to women and often at the exclusion of men. In action, you can beat a male hero to a pulp and nobody cares. You beat up a woman on screen and it's uncomfortable for everyone and people question if you're a misogynist. Remember the X-Men Apocalypse controversy. I mean, that was a good example. Villain does villain things and misogyny. Even Birds of Prey. I remember the villain who was Black Mask. Was cruel toward women. That was his character. His entire character was written to be a misogynist. That was the point. And yet you still had people coming in here going, I can't believe they represented on the screen. The screenwriters must be misogynist. Or, and hear me out, that was the character. That was the entire point of the character they made. That's I am still baffled, and I know I've talked about this before in videos. I'm still baffled by the idea that if you write a villain who does villain things and is a villain, if it's the wrong villain things, if the character's racist, Nazi, bigot, whatever, if the villain are those things, then people are like, wow, this writer must be a Nazi as well, because it wrote a story of Nazis, and Captain America had to really dig deep in order to beat the Red Skull. If Mark Grunwald was alive today, he would absolutely be called a fascist. He would, because he did long storylines where the Red Skull, was beating Captain America, had one up on him, and then Captain America had to somehow dig deep and figure out a way to overcome. And it was hard, and that was how the comic went. Anyway, as a final note, back to the mail, I think seeing that the actress playing Galadriel needed therapy to shoot the battle sequences proves my point. Every guy I know would pay money to take part in a Middle-earth battle scene. But this show that's meant to make Galadriel a badass, the actress didn't even like filming the scenes that, in theory, are what makes her character a badass. I didn't hear about that. She had therapy to do action sequences. I've not. If that's true, that's weird. I don't know. I mean, I think that's weird. I can't even. I have trouble wrapping my head around. What? That's my reaction. What? Hopefully you don't write me off as a sexist douche. No, I think this is a discussion that really should happen in all entertainment companies. It's all right to have something just kind of be macho and aimed at teenage boys and men. Why shy away from the fact that some stuff sells best by being overly boyish? I reject the idea that every movie or comic maximizes profit by appealing to both sexes. I think that's a summary line in my opinion. I've been watching Rings of Power with my girlfriend. Like 70% of the female dialogue just makes her cringe or call the woman bitchy. I'll leave my point at that because it's just rambling on at this point. So definitely, yeah, no, I'm not going to call you sexist or any of that stuff. I mean, I think it's true. I think that, here's the way I view it. And for a long time, this was the argument. It was anyone should be able to buy whatever they want. That was the argument. If a girl wants to buy a G.I. Joe toys and likes G.I. Joe, that should be okay. Nobody should bitch, look sideways, make fun of her for wanting that. Likewise, if a boy wanted a Barbie doll and that was what the boy was into, again, that's the personal preference of the boy. You can do whatever he wants. It is interesting, by the way, at least from being a kid, if a girl played with He-Man or G.I. Joe or Transformers, that girl was considered like kind of a tomboy, or just kind of cool, right? If a boy wanted to play with Barbies or dolls like that, that boy was gay. It is interesting. So with that in mind, again, a lot of the talking points were people, kids are kids. They should be able to play whatever they want without stereotypes, without bias. I can get on board with that. Absolutely. You should just be able to read what you want, watch what you want, play with what you want. It's your business. It is your business. Um, However, that whole thing has morphed into, we need to make sure the products, insist that whoever wants to play or buy them or consume them can do so. It's like it's taken the choice from people, and instead it's gone to the corporation to say, damn it, there is no such thing as a boy's toy. It's gender neutral toys. Everything's gender neutral toys, except if you go to Target any given day and you go to the toy aisle and just try this for yourself. Look up the toy aisle. You've got the Marvel action figures with the WWE action figures with the GI Joes with He-Man and cars, Hot Wheel cars, and that kind of stuff. Boys are hanging out there. You go to the doll aisle, girls are hanging out there. Several of these stores remove the boy toys and girl toys labels, which I guess is fine. It doesn't really matter because the kids know exactly what's up. They self-select. So I think the right way to do it is, if a girl wants to go into the GI Joe section, nobody should stop that girl. Like, a store employee shouldn't come over and be like, hey, what are you doing over here? You got to go back over the dolls. Get the fuck out of here. Don't do that and then call it good. You don't need to do more than that. A lot of comics and movies, they're trying to promote, like, this is for women, or like you point out, this is for everyone. And everybody is scared to say this is for men, unless it's like an Old Spice commercial or something like that. But that they won't do it. And I think that's the wrong way to put the emphasis. Go ahead, make content for boys. Do it. You'll sell just fine. Just make content for boys. Don't print on the label, hey, F you girls, you can't have this. Girl wants to buy it, let them buy it. The end. And then just walk away. Call it a day. The important thing is buy things that people, or make things that people actually want to buy. That seems to be a mysterious task for lots and lots of people on a daily basis. Anyway, thank you very much for the mail. Well spotted, well put. I do think the whole topic of why is it that the villains are the least diverse part of anything, and it's not a question I'm asking. I know why. If you make the villains diverse, somebody's going to call you a racist. Even though, as it turns out, equality means that there are diverse heroes, diverse villains, diverse NPCs, diverse people just hanging out, diverse people who are, having their last meal before their, stomach explodes at Arby's. I mean, there's diverse everything out in the world. So why, if you're going to make the comics reflect the world, then you have to go all in. Anyway, thanks for the mail. Like and subscribe, of course, and thanks for listening.